Browns introduced their new head coach today, Todd Monken, introductory press conference here at the team facility in Berea. And of course, at this point, Mary Kay, we still don't know what the future holds for defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, who is still under contract. Of course, was not happy when he was passed over for the head coaching job. And today, Todd Monken was asked about Jim. And while everyone sort of said, hey, that's a conversation for another day, including Todd, one of the things Todd Monken did say was, he wasn't out there game planning for Jim Schwartz. He wasn't game planning to chip Myles Garrett and Grant Delpit. He wasn't trying to throw away from Jim Schwartz. He was trying to throw away from Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell. So if we're reading between the lines, it sure feels a lot less now that Jim Schwartz will be back than maybe before we heard from Todd Monken today.
Well, I was told that Jim Schwartz was in the building yesterday, so I'm sure that's when those two guys put their heads together and talked. Now, Todd would not reveal today whether or not he thought Jim would be coming back, but he certainly sounded like a man who does not think that he's going to have his defensive coordinator on hand. Now, Jimmy Haslam said that it's still ongoing, that they're still trying to work this through, and I think it's probably going to take some kind of a restructuring of his contract. He's got 2 years left on his contract, but Todd certainly talked like someone who's not 100% counting on Jim Schwartz being back in this building.
Yeah, and Ashley, he kind of made it sound like maybe he doesn't necessarily need Jim Schwartz. Maybe that was the message he was trying to deliver, in part to his players who, there were certainly some players in attendance today, not many, but I'm sure a lot of them saw the quotes today. Maybe some of them were even watching this press conference trying to deliver that message to all involved.
Yeah, and I thought the other important thing that he really noted was this idea of they're not changing the system. And I think, of course, guys in this building love Jim Schwartz, but we've talked about it. I think what they really love is this system. So, of course, if they have to move on from Jim Schwartz, if everyone decides there's not a path forward and they promote somebody or find somebody else, I'm sure it was reassuring to guys like Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, Grant Delpit, Carson Schlesinger even, that this system Todd Monken plans to keep the same. So I definitely think that was important, and I definitely agree with Mary Kay. The tone of this certainly was interesting, and I'm very curious where this is all going to end up.
Now, of course, an offensive head coach, a guy who's here to fix the offense. Quarterback is going to be a big topic of discussion. We know there are 3 on the roster right now: Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. Of course, he was asked about them, Mary Kay, and again, he wasn't committing to anyone. He wasn't ruling anyone out today. But what did you take away from the message Todd Monken had to deliver today about the quarterback room?
Well, when we got Todd Monken in a small group setting in here in the media room, I did get a chance to ask him specifically about Deshaun Watson. He admitted that he is intrigued by the notion of having a 3-time Pro Bowler that can go out there and maybe be what he used to be. Now, he noted that it's been a long time since he's played a full season, and they don't know exactly what they have in him. But I think that he's looking forward to getting out on the grass with Deshaun Watson and seeing what he could do. And then also with Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, he met him the other day. We all know that Shedeur is still a work in progress. I think this team believes that right now, in this moment in time, that Deshaun Watson is the better quarterback, but we'll have to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing, Ashley, with kind of everything. We're still in such the early phases of all of this. I mean, he can't even start coaching these guys until April when the offseason program gets going. The collective bargaining agreement is really strict about what he can and can't talk about with guys, all sorts of things like that. So we're still very much in the early phases of this, but he certainly wasn't ready to rule anyone out or go all in on anyone, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, again, to your point about how early they all are in this process, like there's only so much you can do right now when you are a head coach in the NFL. And with a new coach, they'll obviously get to start that offseason program a little bit earlier. But again, this is all very highly governed by the CBA. And I think you don't want to commit too much at this stage, just given where that room is, given the fact of Deshaun Watson's injury history now, given that you only have 7 games worth of starts for Shedeur Sanders. There's a lot of moving parts still.
And by the way, I'm going to guess that Todd hasn't even started on the draft process yet. So there's all of that. Still a lot of things to happen between now and when this thing really gets going. So Mary Kay, just overall, you came away from Todd Monken's introductory press conference day, where we also heard from Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry, thinking about what?
Well, I've been saying this since the day that he was hired, and I truly believe this. I think Browns fans and Browns players are going to fall in love with this guy. I think he's the perfect fit for the Cleveland market and for this roster. I think he's going to be great for the young guys. I think he's unabashedly himself. He cried during the press conference. He was funny. He showed all different kinds of emotions, and I thought that was great. I think he's going to play really well in this market, but of course, in order to do that, he's got to win and he's got to have a quarterback.
Yeah, and Ashley, to me, it's just he's said it this way. This has been a long time coming for him, and I think he made the point today that the version that the Browns are getting of him now isn't the same as the version they would have gotten of him had he gotten this job 20 years ago or even 30 years ago, something like that. So, this is an opportunity for him that he's been waiting for a long time. I think he's going to take full advantage of it. He's going to leave his mark on this football team, and the Browns are getting a guy who this is his shot, and he's going to certainly give them their best.
Yeah, and I mean, to that point, I thought today some of the more emotional or introspective moments from him came talking about the different stops in his career. And I think he's a guy who genuinely has learned everything, even from some not so great experiences. And the top of that list might be his 1-year stint as an OC here in 2019 with Freddie Kitchens. And he's talked about before, even learning from that year, despite all of the struggles they had. So I definitely think that career path has helped shape him. I agree with Mary Kay. I think a lot of Browns fans are going to sort of fall in love with that tough love demeanor that he is known for. And I think we saw just a little bit of that today in that about half hour that he spoke.
It has been a while since we've had one of these days here in Cleveland, a head coach introductory press conference. So we will cover everything that happened today at cleveland.com/Browns.